This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
Welcome to the Oddsbreakers, #1 place for shared sharp betting information.
Welcome back to podcast 1 of 2026. I'm your host, Kiev O'Neil. You can follow me on Twitter at OBKiev. Follow us at the Oddsbreakers. Follow us on social media / the Oddsbreakers. This episode is being brought to you by FanDuel Sports, proud partner with the NFL. If you'd like to support the Oddsbreakers and benefit from our premium plays, please visit theoddsbreakers.com, click shop, become a member, pick any. If winning cappers get the premium plays before the line moves, you can also support us on patreon.com. If nothing else, please visit the Oddsbreakers and become a free Picks and Telegram subscriber. College basketball is rolling, my friends, and today is my birthday. January 2nd, always the day after New Year's. When everybody starts their New Year's resolutions right before they fail is my birthday. Always, my whole life, I never loved the fact that my birthday was in the middle of winter, the day after New Year's. But you know what? I'll make the best of it. And I actually just wanted to do a quick podcast because I love college basketball, right? I enjoy it. I'll be watching it on my birthday weekend. And that's kind of what I want to do, minus going out to a dinner with my family. We're going to Texas Roadhouse. I don't remember if I've ever been there. So obviously guys over at VSiN really swear by it. So I asked them for some tips on what to get. And I'm very excited to go over there and check it out. What a awesome, crazy, fun week of college football. We crushed it yesterday, hit all our plays. We're 22-11 in college bowl season. Or I should call it postseason, being that you have the playoffs as well as the Army-Navy game. But, man, up 23 units. Cannot be more happy about that. It's been wonderful. About to hit the Texas State here, too, which should bring us 23-11. So, what a wonderful bowl season. And, man, those playoffs, I'm going to cover it more in the good, bad, the ugly on Monday's show. But it is so refreshing to see new, fresh faces there. Miami hasn't won it in years, so that's the only one, I guess, that's more popular because you have Indiana. You have Oregon that's been there but never won it. They've been at the championship games, but they haven't won it. And Ole Miss, coming out of the SEC, is the only SEC team. I've ranted enough about it on the show, but what a terrible job by the college football committee. Either way, I was happy that I hit all those plays. The only thing I lost was a small hedge on Texas Tech. I thought they'd keep it closer when Oregon kept shitting on themselves in the red zone, but Texas Tech just kept giving them the ball. Baron Morton was horrible, and it just made for a crazy, crazy day. And when you have Indiana on the under 47.5, under 48.5, I had a little parlay going with the 47.5, not as good as the numbers I took earlier in the week. You could not believe how much I was sweating. I was like, seriously, Alabama? But, man, did they just absolutely crush Alabama and made them completely look like they didn't belong, which, like we said, all of November and December. Alabama did not belong and should not have been there. Paul Feinbaum, that man has the greatest job protection of all, because only on ESPN and the SEC and monopolies of that can you be that wrong about most of your takes for the past 10 years and still be looked at and highly regarded and getting time on the air as a guy like him, with the shit he talked about Indiana. And I cannot believe how poor of an analyst he is. But it's not just him, it's many. And we all know it's money motivated as well. But it's just pathetic to watch, and the SEC really is pathetic, not just because of their play, but because of people like him, the constituents that keep propping him up. I mean, if you're an SEC fan, you should ask them to be replaced, But at the same time, great for me, great for members and you guys listening, and hopefully you took some of the plays that we've been giving out. And on Monday's show, I'll break down the Fiesta Bowl as well as the Peach Bowl for the Thursday and Friday games. So what a hell of a college football weekend, and NFL all over the place. But we already talked a little bit about that and gave out some plays. Some of the lines are moving like predicted. Packers keep getting bigger dogs. Denver keeps going up and up here, and just like we said, these lines are moving. And Denver, like we said when we took it at 11.5, that thing is all the way up to 13.5 in some books, and I still think it's going to touch 14 before the end of the day. So there you have it. The Broncos taking a lot of steam right now. Let's talk some college basketball then, and we'll start right away with college basketball ATS, and we'll start with the best covering teams. William and Mary and Hofstra both at 11-1. I should mention there is no team to the closing line that is undefeated right now against the spread. There was a few last year by January 2nd, but none this year. Portland State 8-1, Sam Houston 8-1. Then you got some 9-2s: Miami, Ohio, Mercer, Idaho State, Stephen F. Austin, Tarleton State. Then you got Florida International at 8-2, Iowa 10-3, playing defense. Wagner 6-2, Buffalo 9-3, Prairie View 6-2. There's a lot of teams that haven't played a lot of games yet. Then FAU, Arkansas State, and Akron 9-3. Akron's actually 8-3, and so is Grambling 8-3. So goes down from there. But your worst covering teams, the biggest disappointments in college basketball: Texas Southern 1-8. Oh my God, Texas Southern. Georgetown 2-11. I thought they started out well too. Man, did they kind of crumble. Marquette 2-11-1, a basketball school. Very embarrassing over there in Milwaukee. Western Carolina 2-8. Fairleigh Dickinson 2-8. Loyola Chicago 3-11. Then you have some 2-7s like Jacksonville State, Rider 2-7-2. A handful of 3-10s. East Carolina, James Madison, Boston College, Rutgers, Florida. Gross, Florida. Mississippi and Longwood. Holy cow, is Florida having that hangover type of year. But to be honest with you, I've been betting a lot more totals, and that's where I've been finding a lot of success as well. I got on Iowa State earlier, and the big three teams to me are Michigan, Arizona, and Iowa State in that order. We'll see how that flips around throughout the year, but I think those teams are definitely above and beyond the rest of them as of right now. Things can change, like I said, with the kids get better. Maybe Kentucky gets better, but as of right now, that's the cream of the crop. And I've bet on Michigan and bet on Iowa State, and I might keep betting on them until the market catches up. What's funny about those teams is that at the end of the day, they bench players, so when they're winning by 40 points, they could have actually won by 50. So these efficiency sites don't always take that into consideration. All right, totals, like I said, over. We got some teams to the over. 12-0-1, Denver. Man, I almost bet them last time, and they still went over. It was an exaggerated number. Monroe, Louisiana Monroe, 11-2. Then you got some 10-2s, Duquesne and Eastern Washington. And then you got Long Beach, Miami, Ohio, 9-2. 8-2, Akron and FIU, 7-2, New Mexico State, Sam Houston. You got a handful of 10-3s. So those are your best overs teams. The unders teams is where I've been cashing in, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the unders coming into the weekend. UT Arlington 1-11, been on them a couple times. Hawaii 2-9, playing defense. Boise State 2-9. Fordham 2-9, been on Fordham as well. Canisius 2-9. And what I like about Fordham is their negative 10.5 over/under margin. So that's huge. So look for those big margins too, because when you find out the margin, they're going lower by a lot. In North Carolina, 3-11. We've been on some of their unders. They're playing this weekend, and they're minus 11.4 points average margin to the under. Bucknell, 3-11. Missouri State, 2-7. And you got Cincinnati, Minnesota, Northern Iowa, all 3-10. So those are your biggest unders teams. So no secrets really about Iowa, how they changed their pace with the new coaching hire. And this is kind of going into Saturday's games because, like I said, I want to talk a little bit about Saturday. since we're gonna have less to bet on, just some NFL games, a couple bowl games left, and that is it. So Iowa, we knew that they would play slow, but they're actually going to play slower. Ben McCollum comes in from Drake, and he was a disciple of Darian DeVries, and they just play super slow. But one thing that you got to look for here is when these Big Ten teams, SEC teams, ACC teams, I guess Big East teams, the big conference teams, Big 12, when they play the smaller conferences, they tend to play faster. So their numbers are a little bit exaggerated from a totals perspective because it's just so easy to blow out these teams. You don't need to keep throwing the ball around. Finally, when they face each other, the efficiency sites are going to give you a number based upon their pace, but it's going to be wrong because it should be lower. And trust me, the market figures this out quick enough too. But as long as you get these lines early enough, there's still going to be value on some of these unders because every single year.
Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years now. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they'll show you options that fit your budget. So whether you're picking out your first policy or just looking for something that works better for you and your family, they make it easy to see your options. Visit Progressive.com. Find a rate that works for you with the Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
You see, Big 10, Big 12, ACC, a lot of these games going under because of the defense. It's stepped up and they can't score as easily and they hold the ball longer. They pass the ball around more, right? So that's going to happen, and that's something that's just not factored in. So, for example, tomorrow, I'm going to take Iowa under 138.5, and that number's right now at DraftKings, and they're playing UCLA. If you look, UCLA ranks 284th in pace. Last year, they are 312. So they even play a little bit faster. Iowa, Ben McCollum, 358th in pace. I expect that just to keep going lower and lower myself. I think they're going to be in the 362s, 363, maybe even the worst in the nation at 364. So, that's very possible as well. Is there 364 teams? 365 teams, my bad. But yeah, this is a number based upon the over-exaggeration of the fact that these teams are not going to be able to score as easy, and they're going to play even a little bit slower. So that's going to be my first play for you guys for this weekend. Iowa, under 138.5. I like it all the way down to 134.
Get busy living or get busy dying. That's goddamn right.
All right, well, next game I'm going to get into is another total. North Carolina is playing SMU, and SMU runs fast, right? They do. They run fast, and so does North Carolina. But I think, as you've seen, it's exaggerated. If you look at the Bart Torvik trends, especially when it comes to North Carolina, the pace line has been trending down. You can see that with SMU as well. I like the fact that they're going to slow it down a little bit. North Carolina is one of the best unders teams. I'm going to put a little bit less on this one, but I like the under in this game. First ACC matchup, there's going to be a little bit of jitters, queasiness. They're going to be a little nervous, probably. First big game. Actually, I will say that Florida State did play North Carolina, and that also went way under. But this for SMU, this is their first ACC game coming in here. So, in my opinion, this is a great time to grab another under on a team that's already trending under because, believe it or not, this North Carolina defense is a lot better than their offense. And that's something weird to say because normally you think of North Carolina as an offensive team. Their offense ranks 47th as efficiency on KenPom and only 18th on defense. So, well, not only, but that's a low number. They have a top 18 defense according to KenPom. Their opponent effective field goal percentage ranks second at 41.2. So I love that. That's really good. And it's not like they haven't played anybody. Michigan State, Kentucky, Ohio State, Kansas. They definitely played some tougher teams on their schedule. Wasn't exactly a cakewalk. So yeah, I like the under in North Carolina for my second play. And looking at Sunday, Sunday's interesting. It's not like going to be a big Sunday of basketball because they're still competing with the NFL. So I'm not seeing a ton of like marquee matchups really on Sunday. Creighton's playing. Big East has already started. Creighton's playing Seton Hall. You're probably going to get like a 136 on that one. That's probably about right. Bart Torvik has it right there. So that's going to be an interesting game. Creighton's not as good as a team as they used to be. Seton Hall's kind of on the up from last year. You got Washington and Indiana. Indiana's going to be laying about 9 or 10 points for sure. Washington's a little bit better than they were last year. So is Indiana, though. Indiana's playing some pretty good ball. I think Indiana's just playing great home ball, too. That's the thing about Indiana. It's like when you look at them at home, that's kind of a big home road splits. Another thing you should be looking for is home road splits. I mean, Indiana loses to Minnesota on the road, and Louisville on the neutral. Kentucky, they got beat by 12 points, but at home, much better, beating Kansas State by like 20 points almost. Now, they haven't played a lot of big names at home, but I think Indiana's one where Torvik has it at 10. Ken Palm's got it at 6. I guess it's going to be around 9. I actually kind of like Indiana around 9, but I can't predict where it's exactly going to be yet. But we'll see where they're going more towards, Ken Palm or Torvik. It's usually one of those, especially towards the market. I think the market kind of goes a little bit more towards Bart Torvik these days than Ken Palm before. Then you got UAB versus South Florida, so there's a fun one for you too. UConn's playing Marquette, but UConn's going to be laying like 20-some points. How weird is that? How bad is Marquette this year if you're not even in these games? That is a massive number to be laying with UConn. I certainly lean Marquette as Marquette plays them strong, or usually plays tough. But man, when Marquette went to Creighton, they lost by 21 points. And this is a dang good UConn team. When Marquette went to Purdue, they lost by 24 points. I mean, being that this is a division game and it's that big of a dog, the only way I could look is Marquette. But Lowry left the program, one of their best players, and it's kind of weird that he pulled this crap. Maybe he goes right to the NBA. I don't know what his plan is. Entitlement is kind of what I think about him, and I think that Marquette's still going to kind of rally and play strong without him. But I'm going to need a pretty dang big number if I'm going to jump on that game. All right, my friends, real simple. Just 2 Saturday games. Iowa under 138.5. Hopefully it's still there. And we're going to do North Carolina versus SMU under 153.5 for a little bit smaller of a play. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. We'll have more college basketball every single weekend. I'm going to try to get one out next weekend. I'll be in Puerto Vallarta, but I do wake up a lot earlier than my wife does, so maybe I can blast one off for you on Friday. But in the meantime, we'll have our Monday show as well as like a Wednesday show for the NFL. Enjoy the weekend and go get some winners.
On the under $3 menu at McDonald's, a McChicken is $1.50. Because when you're craving a McChicken, you deserve a McChicken. And now that McChicken is just $1.50 with McValue.
Limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Prices may be higher for delivery.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.